Right, so a quick update from yesterday about the patch notes. They did add all of the 6-job stuff into the patch notes. Sneaky. They confirmed what I've been saying, that on the 29th there will be no extra maintenance and it will be added right into the game. So at reset, as soon as you turn from the 28th into the 29th, boom, 6-job, get started. A bunch of quests popping up. But there are some details about the 6-job stuff as well that we can look at real quick. And then the power hunting zone. Oh yeah, wait, I was looking for updated November 26th, yeah. This has like all the... This is for the secret power hunting zones. Let's see, we'd like to share our development intentions and future plans concerning the instant sacred power hunting zones introducing with the version 246 update on November 15th. With the influx of players after the New Age update, we expect that hunting on the sacred power maps may be congested when the 6-job opens on November 29th. That is highly likely. We've seen that in the other regions, right? KMS had to implement the server this came from was KMS. They didn't do this initially, but then they saw it happening, so they implemented it later. And then for MapleStory, they implemented it right away. So I'm guessing that's why for us, they implemented it right away as well, because they assume that it's going to be necessary. To accommodate for the significant increase in player activity, we decided to implement instance maps with the intention of providing a more comfortable hunting environment for all players. However, we understand that our players in regular worlds have additional concerns about this. After the 6-job release, we plan to gather additional gameplay data regarding player behavior in these maps. We are considering the removal of instant sacred power hunting zones in regular worlds earlier than intended during our version 247 December update. That is good news for them. Which will be, is that December 10th, if I'm not mistaken? Oh, 13th, sorry. Probably December 13th. Okay, so that's probably v.247 question mark. I'll put that here. After reviewing this data to ensure our players enjoy playing MapleStory during the New Age update, we will continue to closely evaluate player behavior and feedback. Thank you. So for people who don't play non-reboot, that's because they have frenzy totems there, and frenzy totems increase the spawn and the spawn rate, the sort of respawn rate, and the amount of monsters that are on the map at the same time. And their progress has been for a long time connected to the use of that item in a bunch of maps, but because there are instance maps now, it only works on the player themselves, and you can't get other people to boost your map for you. But from what I understand, if you leave the map, so I don't know what the current position is with the totems. If you leave the map, if the effect now goes away, or if it stays. But that would affect non-reboot players in terms of their progress in the 6-job and how quickly they can farm up their 6-job items. Speaking of which, so 6-job available, requirement level 260 and above. Obviously, there's going to be a quest line, a little bit of storyline that everyone's going to be stuck in for a little bit. A little bit of lore. The boundary between Maple World and Grandis is sundered. A new form of Urda has been unleashed. The Soul Urda, not just the regular Urda that's in 5th job. The wait is over. 6-job advancement can be started by accepting the quest. Remind your character must meet the following requirements to start 6-job, level 260 and above. Completed Conversions, True Form, and 5th-job Record of Power quests, and completed the 5th-job advancement. While proceeding with the 6-job advancement question, you'd like to talk to Moko. And you can exit midway, I guess, if it's too long for you. To do in one sitting. Light bulb icon, good stuff. As you progress through the quest line, you'll receive the following quest items. You must activate the stones to defeat monsters near your level, -+20 to fill each of them with EXP. It seems like it would take forever, but even on the test server I could see that it doesn't take that long. It's just like a whole bunch of NPC chatting and a whole bunch of moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I thought there were 8 or 9. Oh, so there's 7, I guess. Okay. Yeah, so just fill the stone with EXP and blah, blah, blah. Kind of like similar to 5th job, but a little bit different. That's why it's similar and not the same. Good job. Upon completing 6-job advancement, you get access to the Hexa matrix. We can get some better visuals on that with some pictures. It always works better with some visual aids, right, guys? I think here we can kind of see what it will look like. Hexa matrix system. Look at that. Wow. Isn't that sexy? That's what it's going to look like. People who've already been looking at their V matrix here have noticed that if you press the tab key, it goes towards your Hexa matrix, and a bunch of the information is already in there. But after a little bit, like if you click it, nothing happens, and after a little bit, you kind of get kicked out again, back to your 5th job tab, because you're not supposed to be in here. So you can't really do anything. But this is what's going to look like. Obviously with fewer Korean words, but as you guys have already seen in the last week or so, sometimes, you know, the Korean words do sneak in there, so don't be alarmed if they don't. So following 6 job related quests have been added, a whole lot of stuff with some EXP. Then the matrix itself. So you'll be able to improve the skills that you've been relying on for years, so the 5th job, and giving them brand new effects on the existing ones. We'll see what kind of what the definitive terminology is here, because we already have some words from the previous games. So we had mastery node, and enhancement node, and boost node from 5th job, and then origin skill and common skill, I believe. So it looks like we're just going to call the origin skill is just called also a skill node that unlocks the origin skill, and then mastery node, and then boost node. I feel like it's probably better to refer to these as enhancement nodes, like they did in Korea, or like translated from Korean, because boost nodes already exist, and boost nodes are the 5th job boosting, are the 5th job's boosting of 4th job skills. To call the 6th job boosting of 5th job skills also boost nodes, I think can get a little bit confusing. So I'll probably refer to these as enhancement nodes, but they do kind of the same thing as the 5th job for 4th job and below did, which is just increase their final damage, and that's it. Although there was that little bonus at level 20 and level 40, right? Good, thank you very much for getting subs, my dude. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Torille. Suomi perkele, my dude. Thank you. Oh, well, and thank you for 5 more, I guess. Enjoy the background noise. Wait, can I mute this? If I mute this, the alerts don't go onto the thing, I think. What I mean, you guys might not be able to hear them. Oh, whatever. We'll leave them in. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Okay, so skill node for the new one. Mastery node to further boost the boosted skills. So it will either be enhanced or replaced once activated, and then 5th job is also a boost skill, so this is just flat final damage on the 5th job skill. And then common node, new skill that is shared between characters of the same class, will be given once activated. Common nodes will be available at a later date. Yeah, so these, I believe Korea doesn't even have these yet, so we're hoping that this winter update for Korea will have some of this stuff coming into the V matrix, and then hopefully we can get that in the next summer update. Skill node for the job will be activated upon the completion of the advancement. Hexa skill nodes can be enhanced up to rank 30. Once the node is enhanced, the skill that is affected by the node will also level up. Mastery nodes and boost nodes will be can be activated when certain 5th job skills reach a specific level, not counting the slot enhancement levels. So you won't be able to just double boost unless... It's kind of like, you know, being able to pick a 4th job skill that is an enhancement of a 3rd job skill. If the 3rd job skill isn't maxed, then typically you can't use the 4th job skill if it builds on the previous one, right? So that's the same kind of thing here from going from 5th to 6th. But only apply to certain skills. If the skill requirement of the skill is that is being activated is no longer met due to unequipping or extracting the V node, the Hexa skill node will be deactivated as well, and the new skill given through the Hexa skill node will no longer be available. That's just to avoid, you know, being able to double dip, that kind of stuff. Then Hexa stats. Hexa stats is probably like the most complicated thing about the whole system. So we'll read this and see if we can all understand. So here you can see the different types of nodes. So you can see the boost nodes, as they call it, or enhancement nodes, as I was referring to it up until now, where you can see the 5th job skills, so then you're basically just empowering the 5th job skills with final damage. The common nodes should be here, but those are not available yet. The origin skill you can see is here, I believe, yeah. but you can see 4 slots, so you can assume that some more origin skills are coming. And then the mastery nodes, I believe, are here. So this is like empowering 1st through 4th job skills and giving them new effects and that kind of stuff. So they're divided here. It's not like in our current matrix where it's just like one blob and they're all thrown in there and you have to select everything. It's more, you know, spread out like this, so it's easier to tell them apart. Different colors, all that. And then the Hexa stats is a different tab completely. So they have the name here. Yeah, so this is where the enhancement cores. This is where the enhancement name come from. This is all pretty damn similar. And this is what the Hexa stats. That's what that is going to look like. So that's what we're getting into here now. So there are stats that can be obtained to enhance through the Hexa stat nodes. Hexa stats consist of the following stats: critical damage, boss damage, ignore defense, damage, weapon, magic attack, and all stat. No HP, by the way. Feels good, man. There is a total of 6 Hexa stat nodes, and 1 can be activated starting with this 246 update. So you can see here as well that you have 1, and then the other ones are all locked. And you can see here... No, you can't see that here. So you see the one that you have here. So there's a total of 6. You can set 1 main stat with a higher value and 2 additional stats with a lower value per each Hexa stat node. So when it says here main stat, I probably won't refer to that as main stat, because main stat refers to like, oh, strength is main stat when you're a warrior, right? That term main stat already has that. So I'll probably call it like the top line. So you can think of it as like a node, like a boost node where you have 3, right? And the top one is like the prime line. So like the top line, the prime line, something like that. I probably won't say main stat because like boss damage isn't really like a stat. It's more like a metric. I don't know. This is more me being anal about it, but also I'm trying to not get everyone confused right off the get-go and try to set like clear terminology so that if I'm talking about this in the future, you know what I'm talking about. Because I don't like the same thing meaning 2 different things. That just breeds confusion, right? So I probably won't refer to this as a main stat. Additional stats, I think the term additional stats technically refers to flame stats and scrolling stats on equips, I think. I think those, if you Google additional stats, I think that's what you find. So we'll probably just talk about the lines on the Hexa node, I think. It's probably how we'll refer to it. Probably not main stat additional stats, probably not. But that's just a me thing, you know. Yeah, so the one will be like basically like a prime line, and the other ones will be like a rank lower, essentially. So it's very much like your inner ability, but it's you're rolling. This is pretty much like you're rolling an extra inner ability, but you have a limited amount of different stats that it can be, and it also has like a rank up thing, but it'll be specific to only unlocking it once you get into the 6th job. It's kind of how you can see it, kind of. So you can see here, you can set 1 type of stat once within all Hexa stat nodes. This is going to be very difficult to follow without a visual. At least for me it is. I don't know if it is for you guys, but for me it is. For example, boss damage stat can only be set as a main stat for 1 of the 6 Hexa stat nodes. Okay, so that example is good. This basically means that if you have 6 nodes equipped, you're going to have 1 with all different prime lines, right? Because they are still nodes, just like in 5th job. You can't equip 2 boost nodes with the same top skill. You can't equip 2 of the same skill nodes in the V matrix, right? It just follows that same logic. You can set up to 2 duplicate types of stats as additional stats within all Hexa stat nodes. So a critical damage stat, for example, can be set as 1 of the 2 additional stats on stat node number 1 and 2, but it cannot be on multiple. So you basically have to look at this point as you're trying to min-max your boost nodes in 5th job, as in trying to get them all maxed out with the minimal amount of lines in there. But you can't equip like, oh, I like to, you know, my main skill, I want to boost it in a simple way, in a very cheap way. So I'm just going to put it in like 5 different nodes and then get all the levels added up. That's not possible. You can only have it up to 2 times. It says up to 2 duplicate. Technically 1 duplicate would mean 2 and 2 duplicate would mean 3, but I think they mean just twice in total. Yeah, I think what they mean. But this is again like double or twice more in that whole conversation again. But maths in English is a thing that I'll never Get over. You're unable to equip the same type of stats within the same stat node. Yeah, so if the prime line is defense ignore, then the other 2 will have to be different stats from the 5 that are left. So they have to be critical damage, boss damage, attack, or strength, dex, and luck. Of course, this is going to be another way of getting stronger, and it's going to have another max. So this is, again, because it has ID and boss and critical damage, this is probably going to have some effect later down the line in terms of what stats, you know, are you expected to get in progression, right? That's why I haven't really filled this in yet, because we'll have to see what the drop rate is and how quickly people are going to be gathering all this stuff. But this is why when you have here the Hexa matrix and the Hexa stats here, this is not filled in yet, because this is probably going to get pretty complicated. But we'll keep an eye on this as it loads into the game next week to see how that's going and how quickly that's progressing. But it seems like they're also going to be trickling in these nodes, so you're not going to be able to immediately like full max out on everything, because you're going to need pretty much all 6 eventually for that. So they're trying to power creep that in slightly, or gently, gradually. That's the word I was looking for, gradually. All right, so what did we learn? The prime line of all of the stat nodes eventually is going to have to be different. Any stat can be, that is part of... additional stats can only be... Oh yeah, so you can have it twice as additional. So you can have it 3 times then, right? You can have it as one prime and as 2 additionals. Okay, so it is 2 duplicates then. So it is 3 in total, is how I'm guessing. But we'll confer with here, because we have the KMS explanation as well. Total of 6 cores, you only have 1 activate. A single stat core can be assigned 1 main stat and 2 additional stats. A single stat core cannot have multiple of the same type of stat. You cannot equip multiple stat cores with the same main stat. Additional stats can be stacked up to 2 times over all stat cores. Okay, yeah. Stat cores can be upgraded up to level 20, but they'll probably say that here as well. External can master to level 20, and one of the 3 stats levels will increase with a fixed rate per each rank up attempt. I've seen the new Wild Hunter Hurricane hitbox. For 6 job or like right now? Languages do I speak? It's always hard to say, but definitely speak Dutch and English quite well. I could probably, like conversation, I'm okay in French, and I could probably understand most German, but speaking it will be a little bit tricky. And then I have like very, very limited knowledge on like a bunch of other languages that I can't really count, because it's just like a few sentences or something. Although like it's very different from like speaking to reading. Yeah, but like all of Western Europe and like Mediterranean, probably up until like, if you take like Greece and you draw a line like straight up, everything to the left of that in Europe, I can probably read signs and be okay. Everything to the right of that, I have no idea what's going on. Use Monster Park to level my Legion characters, or should Monster Park only be used on the main? You can use it strategically for any character on your account that you think it gets you the most value. Yeah, it's definitely not like one correct answer there. Wherever you think it has the most value, if you want to get down to like mathematically, wherever it saves you the most time training is where it would have the most value for you as a person. But do keep in mind the progress on the Monster Parker medal and stuff like that as well. Yeah. Fixed rate. I believe that fixed rate is mentioned here. Each time you try to upgrade stat core, one of the 3 stats levels will be increased based on a set chance. Does it say how much it is? That's how many you need. Chart of how many materials are required per level. That's pretty useful. Oh, here. Initial activation 5 soul order turns soul order fragments. Main stat level 1 to 2, 35%. Main stat level 3 to 6, 20%. Level 7, 15%. 8, 10%. 9, 5%. Yeah, it gets pretty complicated, but so the way to like take a little bit of a step back, a little bit of a meta approach to this whole thing, I think you can start diving really deep and go working really hard and trying to min-max your stat on your main one here, but eventually you're going to have 6, and eventually your stat, even if it's like a main stat on one, is going to be an additional stat on 2 other ones as well. Again, now I'm using main stat and additional stat. I guess if it's physically mentioned like that, you just have to specify you're talking about the Hexa matrix, I guess. Then eventually all of them are probably going to like cap out to some point where they don't really scale that well anymore. So I don't know how... Yeah, there's going to be some people with like really good ones immediately, or they're going to spend a whole lot of time trying to max this out perfectly to min-max, but then every time a new one comes out, their balance is going to shift, and they might have to redo the first one again to make sure that they're optimized again. And then it become a whole lot more work every single time. But there'll always be 6 months in between, so you can, to some extent, save up a little bit of resources. Not that much, though. So... yeah, min-maxing, remember, if you're min-maxing within one thing in your account, then you're not really min-maxing your entire account, right? If you're min-maxing for your entire account, that means that some things, initially, you might just ignore some stuff within certain systems. If you're trying to get everything out of an individual system, you're probably not min-maxing your time overall, or how you can get value out of it for your account. So keep track of that. So back to the whole explanation. So basically every time the thing levels up, one of the lines on the node will get leveled up, and then the top one has a lower chance of getting leveled up because that one is going to be a bigger number. So if it's level 16, then you have 16 levels between all 3 of them, right? Individual one can only go up to level 10, but we'll see the details here. So it can be enhanced up to level 20. One of the 3 stats level will increase with a fixed rate per each rank up attempt. Each individual stat can be enhanced up to level 10. So like a perfect one, quote unquote, would be like 10, 10, and then 0 on another one. Because then technically it doesn't count and it can be in more nodes, I'm guessing. But you'll probably have some kind of, 7 or like 6, 5, whatever, 9 or something weird like that will probably end up happening, right? The higher level of the main stat, the more Soul Urda fragments will be needed for each subsequent enhancement. Okay. The higher the level of the main stat, the more stats are granted. Gotcha. So if you want to min-max, you want to get one that's the top skill is level 10, because that'll give you the best stats for that one. But it'll also be the most expensive and cost you the most resources to do so. When you're talking here about how many... how much energy and, well, again, we'll double check if they use the same terminology, but when it comes to using the same, oh god, and here there's like locks, yeah, it gets, there's a whole lot of stuff here. But when it comes to the Soul Urda fragments and the Soul Urda, yeah, this is like how much it is, right? So, that's that. You just passed Dragon Egg for the first time, please clap. Alright, let's fucking go clap, good job, dude. Now we're here. Once Hexastats has been enhanced to rank 20, the enhancement can be saved, though be mindful of the following rules. Certain functions such as enhancing or resetting will be disabled for saved nodes. You can select one node that can be enhanced or a saved node to apply to a character. If you attempt to save when there is already a saved node, the previously saved node information will be replaced. Once Hexastat nodes have been... once the Hexastat node has been enhanced to rank 10, its stat level can be reset using Mesos. Hexastat node rank and each individual stat level will reset to 0 afterwards. You can also use Mesos to reset the type of stats set on the Hexastat node. Whole bunch of stuff here. I have to like see it in practice and mess around with it. I think for me it seems a bit much, but I don't know if for you guys it all makes perfect sense. Maybe I'm probably the weird one here. The meso prices for changing stat type and resetting stat level on your Hexastat node are the following: stat type change 100 million meso, Hexastat node reset 10 million meso. So if it's completely messed up, you just reset the whole thing and start over. If it's completely not what you want, if it's close to what you want, but you just need one stat to change, and you pay 100 mil. I think you can kind of see it as like a really, really complicated version of the old jet thing, which is maybe why the Jet Link skill is kind of like gone and not playable anymore because maybe they copied some of the system over from Jet, and if you did this instead, then it would mess up the Jet Link skill maybe. I don't know, maybe that's a little tinfoil hat moment for me, but you know, with the locking and the rotating the stats and re-rolling and locking, you know, all of that, I don't know. But the items from Jet are also still in the game, so I see a lot of similarities though with the way that it like makes you stronger and you're re-rolling, and but you know, maybe that's just because you have limited ways of creating damage for your characters, of course, and empowering them. Hexa skills and Hexa stats can be activated or enhanced by using enhancement materials Soul Urda and Soul Urda fragments. So Soul Urda will look like this, and Soul Urda fragment will look like that. Soul Urda is used in the following ways: activate and enhance your Hexa skills, and activate Hexa stats. Soul Urda can be obtained by earning Soul Urda energy after completing the 6-job advancement. You can earn Soul Urda energy by the following methods: completing daily quests. That's an extra one, I believe, that KMS doesn't have, right? And defeating monsters in Sacred Power Grandis areas. Defeating the following bosses. And that should add the newer difficulties of Kalos and Culling as well when they are released. But with anything over Hard Lotus and Hard Damien. Yes. Ferris. Yeah. Yep. You can create one Soul Urda untradeable when you collect 1,000 Soul Urda energy, and each character can have up to 20 max Soul Urda on you. If the character has 20 in their possession already, Soul Urda energy will no longer drop for that character. So you want to be using it at that point. You want to be investing it. Soul Urda fragment. And probably you've also seen like these infographs kind of for different classes. You've seen them float around. They'll probably be all over Reddit in the coming week. Because when you upgrade certain skills or unlock certain skills at a certain order, it'll give you more total final damage when you're bossing, or you'll need some more when you're mobbing, whatever, right? So a lot of the class discords have already worked a lot on trying to come up with some kind of optimal way that you can just follow. It's basically a skill level guide from way back in the day when you used to look on Ayumi Love, maybe, on like get this skill in second job to level 2 first, then this other one to level 3, then this one to level 6, then that one to level 4, right? It's basically kind of like that in terms of trying to get your overall final damage to min-max. So, you know, ask about that in your class discords if you haven't seen that yet, or, you know, work on that together with someone if it doesn't exist yet for your class. But those can be pretty useful if you're trying to figure out where to invest all of these resources, because it'll be hard to get. Soul Urda fragments is used in the following ways: activate and enhance Hexa skills, and activate and enhance Hexa stats. Soul Urda fragments can be obtained after completing 6-job advancement, and you can earn Soul Urda fragments by the following methods: completing daily quests and defeating monsters in Sacred Power Grandis area. Soul Urda fragments is tradable within the account in non-reboot and untradable in reboot worlds. For characters that complete the 6-job advancement, you will the following sources to earn Urda energy and you will have probably you will unlock the following sources probably. So daily quest, we asked to defeat 3,000 monsters near your level in the Grandis area to complete the daily quest. Again, 3,000 seems like an insane amount. It's not that bad. Daily quest can be completed per character upon, well, if you're in 6-job, you know how many 3,000 is, right? You've killed a few million at that point. Upon completing daily quest, you can receive the following daily quest reward: 600 Soul Urda energy. So that's 60% of 1 Soul Urda. And then 12 Soul Urda fragments. Which it doesn't say here how many of those you can hold on to at the same time. And you can see those resources as well here. If we scroll up, all the way up here, you can see how many you have. Is there no max on Soul Urda fragments? Mm-hmm. 4 different types. Oh god. Yeah, we'll just jump back and forth a little bit between these two things. And then solar fragments are given only once a day per world. Unlucky. After claiming the Soul Urda fragment for the day, additional characters that complete the daily quest will only receive Soul Urda energy. Oh, you can still get Soul Urda energy per character. Oh, that's good, okay. But just not the fragments. Okay. So that's probably still worth it, right? A little bit of bonus. A little bit of bonus energy. So it seems like the energy is not... the fragments has no cap, it seems, on how much you can hold on to it. But for the Soul Urda itself, you can only hold up to 20. So that's 20,000 energy at a given time max. And then the Soul Urda energy will no longer drop. How many fragments make a Soul Urda? Fragments and Soul Urda. So Soul Urda fragments and Soul Urda are completely separate things. The only thing that turns into something else is Soul Urda energy turning into Soul Urdas. The Hexa Matrix logo is a Linkin Park knockoff. This one you mean? The VI? Oh yeah, it looks like it looks like the P and the yeah, it kind of looks yeah. I see it now. Yeah, like if I kind of saved. Was it one of their albums where they had that on the front? You need a shit ton of the fragments, so no cap there being makes sense. Oh no, yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I was just trying to make sure that I wasn't missing that there was a cap somewhere. And then we have the actual 6-job skills. I hope you will forgive me for not going over this, because this is actually like 11 skills per class, almost 50 classes, probably like 550 descriptions of skills and damage and numbers. I guess we can look at the non-KMS one though. Read every word. We'll definitely look at the non-KMS ones, which is nice because Jet isn't in there anymore and Beastamer isn't in there yet. So we'll just look at Hayato and Kana and just make sure we double check what those are. But all the other ones you can definitely link to the patch notes in the description to read up on that. But I would also look at videos, you know, because they tell picture says a lot more than 1,000 words. So Hayato got the Hexa, Rice and Renzan, slashes up to 8 enemies at once, 3 consecutive blows. No takes 4, 540, 550, 560. And a right blade flash on 4 enemies, 8 hits. 540. That's all at level... Oh, that's at level 30, yeah. Jin Quick Draw. Hayato temporarily adopts the Jin Quick Draw stance to deal a strike with all his might. Invincible while casting. Chase cuts 10 times, 2000% damage. 15 enemies, 8 attacks. Jin Quick Draw buff on Hayato for 10 seconds. Increases Hayato's final damage by 10% while the buff is active. Cooldown 360 seconds. So that's your... that's a skill note here. So that's your... That's that big skill that we saw, right? With the big red swipes that you could reactivate. So those are those strikes. And then the final strike is the big one that crashes the entire map. So it's still 5 cuts, 1500% damage each, 15 enemies, 10 attacks. Recovers 100 sword energy upon activation. Can be used while using some attacking skills. So you want to weave that in while replenishing your sword energy at the same time. This one will cover 150 sword energy while using. And then the last one is 200. And then the last one reactivates iframe, 10 cuts, 4,800% damage, 15 attacks. This one doesn't say how many monsters it hits. I'm assuming it's all 15, because it seems like it's 15 all the way. But this last one doesn't have a mention here of how many targets it hits, but I'll just assume it's 15. Then boost nodes for 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all just final damage, final damage. Final damage, final damage, so nothing crazy there. Now for Kana, because we saw that boss damage stuff, let's double check on that. Shikigami Haunting. Steadfast training has yielded true master of Shikigami Haunting, empowering the skill to its full might. See about that. Spirit Warding Charm. Activation has 100% duration, 6 seconds, speed minus 90%, damage 400% per second. What is that? Spirit Warding Charm? That's like a debuff? Like a slow debuff on when she got me haunting? Was that already a thing? Nothing crazy in terms of nothing like we didn't know already. Of course it's crazy damage increase, but... Scanlord Haku Menkonmu. Haku Menkonmu Jubi. Strongest bomb between Kana and Haku. So I already saw... I don't know if you guys saw Bomba's video, but like this thing... doesn't like... For right now, you're not immune to damage the whole time. So you could just like die right after casting it. I saw some interesting interactions. Transforms Haku into a legendary figure who descends upon this world. Invincible during casting, but it doesn't seem like you're invincible during the whole skill. Hope they fix that. Haku transforms into a legendary form. 10 shockwaves, 2,800 damage, 15 enemies, 8 attacks. Grants the Haku Nemo Blessing buff that lasts 10 seconds to Kana. Increases the cumulative mana of every skill of Kana that accumulates mana by 50%. Mana consumed during the buff stacks up to 500. When using the final blow, the entire stack is consumed to increase the power. Okay. Every time Kana consumes mana, Haku deals an additional attack with 5 shockwaves of 500% damage on 15 enemies with 5 attacks. Every time you consume mana, okay. Activates 12 chase cuts on the final blow, damage 5,500. Probably should need a percentage there. Plus Haku Nemo Blessing, cumulative mana percent. Oh, that's one number. 5,500 plus the cumulative mana percent. But that's up to 500, right? So up to 6,000%. 15 enemies hit, 15 attacks, invincible during casting. So it seems for this one you're more just like invincible in the beginning and invincible at the end. 1B versus an MPE today. Gotcha. Thanks for letting me know. And then the boost nodes, 60% final damage on Yuki Musume Shokan, which isn't super useful. 90 all stat passive for domain and 20% boss damage while receiving Spirit Domain's effect. So just for you. Uh-huh. 60% damage to Liberated Spur Circle, which probably misses about 85% of the time. And then Ghost Yaksha Boss's Boss Boost. 60% final damage. Well, I could tell between Hayato and Kana that there's a clear favorite now. And it's not the one that it was in the past. I'll let you figure out with that cryptic description which direction it's going. Please be aware that we plan to open up character creation for Beast Tamer along with its 6 job skill in the first half of 2024. So yeah, I'm expecting 0 on later this event, but it's looking like... It said the first half too, so it seems like no Beast Tamers until we're well into 2024 is what it's looking like. Yeah, so if you want to see all the details on your skills, well, I probably wouldn't look here. I would look more at Orangemushroom patch notes, or I'd look at previous videos I did covering all the 6 job skills already, multiple times. You can find all those videos on the channel. But I do want to spend a little bit more energy here on the Hexa stats and all that stuff, because we've got the basics down of like how it all works here now. So you can see the Soul Urta here, the Soul Urta energy, see how close you are to building up the next energy, which I assume tracks with this bar as well. You can acquire Soul Urta energy by defeating monsters in Authentic Force areas. So there's like different forms of energy that come from the different sources. They'll also have different amounts here. So it's 50 for hard, lucid, up until hard will is 50 each. Normal Hella 70, Hard Hella 120, Chaos Slime 70, Chaos Gloom 100, Chaos Darknell 120, Black Mage 300, Extreme Black Mage 600, Normal Saren 150, Hard Saren 220, Extreme Saren 500, Extreme Saren less than Extreme Black Mage. Okay. Oh yeah, because it's weekly versus a monthly. Yep. Chaos Kalos 250, so that's going to be normal Kalos after the difficulty changes, but that's not yet for us. And 300 for normal Kaling. Isn't 600 energy like nothing? That's how much you get for your daily. Your daily also gives 600 energy. So if you kill Extreme Black Mage, you get 1 extra day per month worth of daily energy. So yeah, massive. Insane. Defeating monsters in Authentic Force areas. Well, since these are your bottleneck anyway, because you need a lot, and they can only be gotten from monsters, how much you get from bosses doesn't really matter all that much. Just a little bit of a little extra, but yeah. You need to collect them. Okay, we already read this part. I already talked about this part. We talked about the name of the cores. So this is like when you want to level them up, it'll tell you how much it's going to cost to do so. So this cost is taken into account together with how much final damage you increase on those infographs that I was telling you about that you might have seen floating around for your class. And if it was the Kana one, it was a bunch of Kanas who were hanged. So here you can see the costs that it's going to be for your skill core, mastery core, and enhancement core. So the enhancement core is basically going to be the core means node, right? And this is probably going to be the boost node, right? So for the boosting the 5th job skills. So this is going to be the cost for the individual ones. So these you have to unlock, so you have to pay for 0 to 1 as well. This one comes level 1, the origin skill, and then you start from 1 to 2. But because they have different costs, there might be more efficiency, different final damage, blah, blah, blah. That whole stuff again. So yeah, look at this if you want to. If I do open link, copy image, copy link address. That should be specifically just the link. There you go. Shout outs again to Orangemushroom. Max doing the Lord's work. Support him on Patreon. Also, apparently, if you get a lot of supporters, you should do Patreon. You should do coffee or something. Because coffee just takes a flat amount instead of a percentage. And then you can end up with way more of your money. I don't know if anyone of you use Patreon or if Max does. And then the Hexa stats themselves. So we looked at these. So the first thing you have to do is activate the Hexa stat core. To do this, you have to choose 1 main stat and 2 additional stats. You can choose from 6 different stats, and the additional stats values will be halved. Each stat on a core can go up to level 10, while the core itself can go up to level 20. Between all 6 of your Hexa stat cores, you cannot repeat any main stat, and you can only stack each additional stat up to 2 times. This is similar to the V-core enhancement system, where you can stack trios, but only if the main skill on the core is different. Yeah, oh, hey, that's what I said. Good one, Max. You do great minds. After choosing the desired stat... Wait, can I zoom in one more? No, I cannot. After choosing the desired stat, you can see the Hexa stat core in the UI along with the 3 bars. This one, and then these are the 3 bars, right? Where you can see the levels. Every time you level up the Hexa stat core using the Soul Earth fragments, 1 of the 3 will be leveled up. The stat that is leveled will be chosen randomly based on a set rate that you can see in the UI. The chances and upgrade costs are set based on the main stats level. So you can see the percentages here. So the chance is... Well, now it's 0% because this one is level 10. So for the next level, it'll be 50-50 between the 2. But I assume it starts with... So level 1 and 2 is already 35. So the other 2 will be 31.5 then? No. So 32.5 for the other 2? I'm guessing that these 2 are always the same. That this is just, it's like 50-50 between these 2, but then the percentage of the main one changes as it goes up. The lower the chances you have to hit it again, this makes min-maxing this stat core quite difficult. There are some features that help you in this quest. So this is what the UI will look like. Let's say you have a level 20, right? Your main stat is 10, and you have 2 and 4. When a stat core reaches level 10, you can pay 10 mil meso to reset it back to level 0. Now for this one, you probably don't want to, right? Because you picked this top one, and you got it to level 10. So why would you ever want to reset this one, right? This one is probably not one you want to reset like this. But maybe the additional lines here are not ones that you want. Maybe you want to reroll these stats. You want to get a different stat on there because you changed your mind, maybe. I'm a little confused though because these two additional stats look exactly the same. And like they both say damage. Wait, the top stat has to be different. Can you have the same secondary stat twice in one? When you reset all three. Secondly, my stat core has reached level 20. But there's two ways of resetting, right? The 10 and the 100 mil one. Where is that information again? Oh, here. To change the types of stats in the stat core to those of your choice. Yeah, but this is something you do afterwards when you have like multiple saved ones and you're trying to min-max and like puzzle everything together, right? And then here, every time able to reset it back to level 0. So if you get a bad set of rolls and don't want to keep going, you can reset it and try again. However, you will not get back the soul or the fragments you already used on the core. You reset the, yeah, there's one to reset the level and one to reset to change the stats, right? Yeah. Secondly, when a stat core reaches level 20, you can save its levels. After doing so, you can reset the core, try to upgrade it again, and swap back and forth between the two as you wish. This means you will never lose progress on a core, as you can always save your best roll, work on another one in the meantime, and swap back whenever you want. So I guess technically you can have like a mobbing and a bossing one. Another one for the checklist to switch every time, right? Finally, you can switch to different stats on the stat core by paying 100 mil meso. You can choose which main stat and additional stats you want to change the core to, which won't be very useful right now, but when they unlock more cores, you can do something like roll all of your stat cores, see which one roll the highest main stat, and set that one to your desired stat, and so on. Basically, only RNG in the system is the upgrading chance. Yeah, because you'll be able to pick, you know, you'll have 6 different ones, and you'll have 6 the 5 stats twice each and all of the substats. So eventually you'll have the same of everything once all of them are unlocked, like I said before. TLDR, grind to collect Soul Urda and Soul Urda fragments. Use Soul Urda and Soul Urda fragments to level up your Hexa skills, and use Soul Urda fragments to level up your Hexa stats. Definitely going to be a long process as you need a lot of materials, but I think that's pretty much the same as everything new in Maple. It'll slowly make it easier and faster over time. Also, they buffed the level 1, 10, and 20 values since the test world, so the enhancement core gives 11% final damage right at level 1 instead of 2%, meaning you still get a good boost right from the beginning. Nice. You can see more details like the stats per level for Hexastat cores on the Namu Wiki page. I see here all skill cores. Origin skills also get bonus stats when they reach level 10, 20, and 30. On level 10, they get 20% IED. On level 20, 20% boss damage. On level 30, 30 IED and boss damage. On the whole skill. And I assume this is like internally... No, it probably isn't internally additive. It's probably because it's like 50% baked into it would probably be a little bit OP. But that is nice. And all mastery cores require level 40 of the corresponding skills V-core enhancements. Alright, so you have to have at least level 40 before you can start boosting it. All enhancement cores require level 25 of the corresponding skills V-core, so it has to be maxed before you can even enhance it. Gotcha. And then here we have all the skills as well. So I'll link this one in the chat as well. Hang on, back to overview. 6 job. Ooh. Skills? Yeah, if you want to get that specific. If you want to like see all the visuals, see all the pictures here, all the numbers like that, a little bit cuter. Always double check them, of course, with here, but yeah, you can pretty much see that they're going to be the same, except for the ones we went over, of course. The Hayato and the Kana won't be in there. So that's the Hexa matrix. So one more week, but yeah, now you can see the importance of people wanting it to be uncapped. Because if it was capped at 400, I think they put it at 400 energy per day, right? Then 400 from that and 600 from the daily, you'll be able to get 1 energy from this per day, which early on gives you some progress, but you can see pretty quickly the amount of soul Erda you need to level up. Yeah, it'll end up taking forever. So that's why the removal of that cap made a lot of people super duper happy, and why the introduction of it made a lot of people super duper unhappy. You have to max 5th job nodes before getting 6th job. No, you have to max the 5th job nodes before empowering them with 6th job. But you can already unlock your skill core, and you can work on mastery cores for the 5th job boost nodes that are at least level 40, or you can work on your Hexa matrix in the meantime. Yeah, yeah, if I'm looking at all the numbers, the Kana changes look pretty messed up. It's not even a 6th job. But, I mean, that's coming from someone who's kind of like a Demon Avenger main who didn't actually have a 5th job for the better part of 5 years, so, you know, I feel your pain. Stay true, fight strong, use the proper channels, complain about it, make a lot of tickets, and I'll do my own internal push, and we'll see if we can get something done, because, yeah, it looks horrible for Kana. I'm gonna be real. That looks shit. Fix_Kana. That's also a good name. Make sure you post everywhere. Alright, so any additional questions? Just ask me live on stream and we'll try to figure it out. But hopefully that's your introduction and is very helpful for you in trying to figure out where to get started when 6th Shop does come out next week. So thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you on the next one.